Hey guys, welcome to a new video. We haven't done like a specific role in a long time, honestly, like ranking them or a tier list or anything. I've kind of stopped doing them and just do best champions, but I guess if you want more of those for different roles, let me know down below. But anyway, we're going to look at AD carry today as that is my main role. We're going to do it a bit differently though. I'll rank them all in a second, but first I actually asked Deadly, the challenger rank 1 AD carry we did a video with recently. I think he's ranked 5 right now or something, but he's still really good, to give his current top 5 for solo queue and why they are so good. So top 5 from Deadly then. Number 1, Kai'Sa. According to Deadly, the most broken champion in the game at the moment and over buffed as well. Pickle ban in every single challenger game, really high damage output from her Q in lane and her passive if you proc that as well. Good poke damage from a higher base damage on her W, and also because you're both AP and AD damage, tanks find it really hard to shut you down and build defense. They have to build both armor and magic resist. One of the biggest things is you can easily snowball the game with the damage and her ultimate as well. She works really well with basically any support and in any game. Number 2, surprisingly for me, was Jhin. Really high damage output now if you can get ahead and you can build and use the new Rage Blade. Without Rage Blade, he is not going to be up here, but he can set up fights with his W or his ultimate slow, which is great. His laning phase is really strong, so it's quite easy to get kills, but the fact that Rage Blade just gives him a crazy amount of AD, it boosts his teamfight power insanely well. Number 3, Ezreal. The same reasons as any time he says he's so good. Quickest spikes in the game, and games are becoming shorter this patch as well. What he means by that is you get your items before every other AD carry basically. You also have a good laning phase with decent damage, a really safe AD carry, and in Deadly's words, you can 1v2 bot lane if your support ints. So number 4, Xayah then. Could be higher if you're paired up with Rakan. Even after the W nerf, she has a lot of safety and damage packed in together. Lane phase when duo with Rakan is really strong anyway, so that is why she is going to be number 4. Finally, number 5, Caitlyn. But 5 is more even. It's whoever you're most comfortable with really that can also wave clear. So if you can't fight, if you're not a top tier AD carry, then what you can do is just push, take towers, play PvE, and get the items you need to team fight with, and then Caitlyn is a really good champion to do that with. So those are his top 5. Let me know if you thought that was a cool idea or not, to have kind of like an expert in the role, I guess a really high level player to give their take on it, but make sure you go and check out his stream and Twitter, which are linked down below. Okay, so getting into every AD carry rank then, the god tier for me is Kai'Sa. Like, it's absolutely insane. She was massively overbuffed, as we said, and does insane damage now on this patch. It's kind of ridiculous that her Q can do so much 1v1 when they all hit the same target. You don't even have to target this or anything. You literally just press one button and it does it all for you. Especially this new Death Dance build with Rage Blade, your Q heals for a lot and her passive damage is really good. Late game though, she is just ridiculous. Her ultimate also allows you to bypass the front line. You can dodge crowd control and pick up a lot of kills that way. I use this actually a lot in lane to dodge like a Morgana bind or whatever and fly to the AD carry to pick up a kill. The only bad side really is you kind of are low range-ish, and if she doesn't get ahead, then she can be a little bit weak without her upgrades. Okay, so going into 5 stars, this is something where you want to pick this every game and it would be a good choice. You can't really go wrong with the AD carry basically. Caitlyn is the only one in this category for me. She's very hard to kill, she's safe to pick in every single game and always going to be a good choice and stand a chance to carry. Your lane phase is a lot better with current supports, like they crowd control and you trap underneath. It's a very easy way to get kills. It's honestly a really big thing, like lane control. With the strong support, you can push, you can take towers easily, especially with Morgana. If you pair Caitlyn and Morgana together, they are pretty much unstoppable. You have high range though, you deal really good damage for team fights, and often it is just a case of if you wait for long enough, you're going to get your items and you can win the game. The bad side is you do lack a little bit of damage without some sort of setup, because traps are honestly a lot of your early damage until she can like just right click to win anyway. So going into our 4 stars, picked most games and they would be good, right? They might have a few downsides, but not many at all. Xayah is going to be here for me to start us off. When duo with Rakan, you cannot really go wrong with the Xayah, honestly. One of the strongest lanes to play with, and if you want to climb solo queue, you really do want to win your lane. Not many champions can fight these two really. Plus, actually, one thing that I love for solo queue is that she is one of the best for win rate increasing with games played. Another side to that is how safe she is. It's very difficult to shut her down with her ultimate, which is really good if like your team leaves you alone. You have high damage, you have the snare as well with your E, which can set up a lot of things, but it's also really good follow-up for your support, which lets you fight a little bit more in lane phase. The bad side is that Xayah is a little bit more difficult to pick up and play than other AD carries, and not ideal either when you're behind. So I'm going to put Jhin here as well, basically because of what Deadly said. Rage Blade is way too good on him, but I have seen a few rioters tweet saying that the AD that gained with your passive and stuff might be bugged actually. It's giving you too much, but I guess we'll have to see if they change that. He does have a really strong lane phase. He's always had this. He can push well. He's difficult like to fight with that much damage as well. He's able to provide more than just damage though, which is really good. His W like can catch people in team fights, like mid game. It can lead to good team fight engages, or even just in ganks and stuff. If you get behind though and you don't get rage bait, or you can't stack that in a fight, which isn't particularly easy, he's still got the same issues as always. Like he can't really get through the front line. One that might surprise you a bit more is Jinx though. She's been quietly strong this patch and pops off a lot more now since the mid game buffs. I don't think she can ever be 5 stars when you can shut her down early, but if you don't, she will do a stupid amount of damage. She's got these AoE crits, right? She's very straightforward to play. You just have to sit in rocket form and it does the work for you, really at a basic level at least. Her passive though is great. It works similar to Tristana's jump really. It's a cleanup mechanic. This is why Jinx gets fed a lot. One kill for her team like activates the passive and probably means another kill. You can be ganked though. You have low mobility. You can be shut down relatively easy, and if that happens, you're not really going to be doing much damage. Last one in 4 stars is going to be Varus. So he spikes a lot earlier into the game, kind of like Ezreal a little bit, just because of very cheap items, Rage Bait and Wit's End. It has a lot of synergy together as a 2-item combo, and with his kit as well with his W, it means he can do a lot more damage than others early into the game. He has a strong lane phase. He's got high range, good trading, good all-in fights with his blight stacks as well, and it's more than just damage like Jhin. His ultimate is one of the best teamfight mechanics in the game, honestly, and it's so good to catch people and lock them down. The bad side is he really does need time to ramp up in a fight. Sometimes when I'm playing Varus and I get into a team fight and my front line dies straight away, I don't have time to stack Rage Bait and I can't keep up with like a Caitlyn. Okay, so 3 stars. These are normal AD carries. Still very good, can carry in different ways, but they're not overpowered and they have more weak areas. Ezreal is going to kick us off, and I know that Deadly put him 3rd, and to be honest, if you're that good with him and you're a really awesome mechanic player, then that's fine, but he has so many downsides normally. Tanks can block most of your damage if you're not good. If you're not ahead, crit champions outscale massively unless you're a god. You can really show how good you are on this champion though. High skill cap gets his items a lot faster, so if you use that power, you can snowball a game. The thing is, auto attack champions are a lot easier to play. They can do more later as well, and if you get behind, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in normal solo queue games with normal solo queue players. Sivir might not be the biggest like carry AD that you can play, but she can wave clear like a beast. You farm well, easy to play, AFK push the lane. You cannot really die unless you mess it up big time. Your ultimate is really good to help your team, but you can just clear waves, you can farm, and eventually you press your W, you crit everybody and you win. Ideally, you need 3 items before you really take off though, and that is an issue, like so your crits actually hurt with Infinity Edge. You have short range and you're not very good when behind either. It feels weird putting Tristana in this category, and honestly, you might want to put her a bit lower at the same time, but she's very safe and probably one of the best AD carries to get carried with by your team. She's at 3 stars because of the nerfs, really. She can't get ahead or carry as easily as before anymore, but she does have like insane mobility. It definitely helps a ton. She's very safe. She can go in and out of trades in lane too. She's also still insane late game, right? Or she can get ahead at least. Same cleanup mechanic that we talked about with Jinx. You get 1 kill, you're likely going to get another. Honestly, the biggest downside is that you get stomped early way more than you did before now. Her win rate is absolutely terrible before 30 minutes on average. Twitch is another one who used to be like god tier, and he's absolutely insane late game still, but past 30 minutes at least, and he is one of the best at that point, no doubt. The issue is getting there. The game has sped up recently and he gets left behind too easily. Your team fight is really good though, and catching people as well, basically being like able to snowball a game in his favor if he's ahead. I don't think you really have a strong enough lane though to fight these sick lanes, especially like the duos. I think like stick him against a Caitlyn and Morgana and it's going to be such a hard game. It can be a really good pick, it can be a really bad pick. It really depends on the game, but if you get late enough, he is going to carry. Vayne is kind of a similar deal actually. Really good later, but games are faster now normally, and the support meta is actually quite hard for her to deal with as well. They're going to lock her down and try and kill her. The carry potential with Vayne is obviously still ridiculous. If she gets fed, it's pretty done, and you can like pretty much 1v9. She needs to dive into fights to do any damage though, and that can be quite hard in this meta at the moment, and other AD carries are spiking a lot faster than she does, like Varus, even Zyra, I guess. They'll do more work in these early fights for quite a while till she gets more items. So Miss Fortune is going to be 3 stars, but if you're gold, silver, or bronze, I'd put her 5 stars. She has a lot of downsides, so you can't really put her higher up, but at lower ranks, they aren't as big of a deal. Games are ending a bit faster, laning means a bit more. That's perfect for Miss Fortune. She was buffed recently as well, but her lane poke, her ultimate damage have always been like the biggest strengths really. The fact that she has no mobility means people can easily dive on top of her and shut her down early. She kind of needs to be ahead, and also in team fights, it sounds weird, but she really stuns herself to use her ultimate. It sounds like a really weird way of putting it, but she has to stand still while using it, and it makes it very easy to focus you if you don't position properly, but that's not really a big deal at lower ranks. Draven is going to round out at 3 stars. He relies on getting ahead normally if he wants to do anything, at least for most Draven players. A really good Draven though could obviously be a lot higher than this in this video and stomp people, but overall he can get shut down a little bit too easily. His damage early is really high, especially with Conqueror. It's absolutely insane. People do not expect to get burst that hard at all. He has no mobility though, and it's hard to kind of kill people quickly if you're not going to get fed, and teamfights are not easy to play with so much damage and crowd control literally everywhere right now. 2 stars are not bad, they are still okay, but they are making your life a little bit more difficult in solo queue if you want to pick these champion. With the right team comp, I think Kog'Maw is still really good, but with the game getting faster and Rageblade changed as well, he's just not as strong. His W nerfs really messed him up, honestly, and if you want to play a Rageblade champion, just play Varus. He does have really good damage, and especially if paired with a sense of support, it's crazy, but it is so easy to focus and shut down a Cog. It's way too easy right now. You need a team to help you more than other AD carries. I think Lucian as well is a lot better for now after the recent buffs, but he's still not keeping up with other ADs. He wants to be a lane bully, and don't get me wrong, like if he gets ahead, he can stomp really hard, but it isn't that easy. That ability to stomp lane, especially with the better version of press the attack, that is why you would pick Lucian, but if you don't get ahead, you're asking to get your ass kicked. Other AD carries will hide behind their team and pump out way more damage. Moving on, I actually think Ashe is quite good, so putting her here is weird, but she is not ideal for solo queue now. She needs items to do damage, and the game is too fast for that to happen as much. Her ultimate is really good. It can win games on its own, and it is such a good solo queue tool to catch people out. Sadly, you trade having a sick ultimate for a lack of damage and solo carry potential, and right now that trade is most of the time way too big. 1 star, last one, Kalista. They nerfed Kalista really, really hard. She cannot keep up with other AD carries and has one of the worst win rates I have seen on an AD for a very long time. It was because she was a problem in pro play, but it crushed her for solo queue as well. If you can get ahead, you can still win, but it is way more difficult now, and it rarely comes from a 2v2. Because you cannot reliably get ahead yourself anymore, you just get outscaled most of the time way too easily. So anyway, let me know what you think of this new kind of style of tier list if you want them for other roles as well. This is as general as I can make it, but remember, a lot of it comes down to how good you are with the champion as well. Good luck in your games, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.